Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint some dancing cranes. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll show you step by step how to do it from start to finish. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's been in chat for our live show tonight, so if you've got questions while I'm painting, you can ask those and I'll try to answer. Let's get started. Alrighty, ooh, it's crooked there. Okay, I'm using a 9 by 12 inch mixed media canvas board tonight, and I haven't done anything to it, so we're just gonna start from scratch here. As for brushes, I'll be using some different Princeton brushes here for my background. I'm probably gonna use some 12 Bright, maybe a Filbert or two. I've got, these are the 6100 Summit series brushes. I'll mention them as I use them. And then for the actual birds, we're going to want to have probably some small rounds. I've got a 4 and a 1 round, and then a 1/4 inch 3/8 inch angle brush. So those will be kind of our main go-to brushes. This is the VelvetTouch line here. And for the background, I'm going to possibly use my Deerfoot Stippler too. This is a 3/8 inch to do some blending stuff. So I'm not really sure exactly, but we'll see as we use them. Like I said, I'm going to mention it. I'll also grab a palette knife to mix up some paints, and I've got some chalk and a chalk pencil, pastel chalk pencil, to do some drawing. All right, let's go over our colors. Carbon Black, Burnt Umber, Burnt Sienna, Quinacridone Burnt Orange, Indian Yellow Hue, Phthalo Turquois, Ultramarine Blue, and Quinacridone Magenta. And then this is Unbleached Titanium, Titanium White, a little bit of Zinc White, and some gloss glazing liquid. The Zinc White is just a transparent white. If you don't have it, just use Titanium White and add a lot of water or glaze to make it thinner. Okay, so for our background, I'm going to go ahead and grab my large flat brush, so the 12 Bright. The difference between a flat and a bright is just that the flat's got longer bristles, so this one's just a little bit shorter in the bright. And I'm going to do a little bit darker background. I know this is kind of a snowy scene. If you want to, you can leave it kind of more snowy. I think I'm going to make it just a little bit more saturated with color. So I'm going to grab some of that teal, the turquoise. And if you don't have the turquoise, you can use like a phthalo blue and add a little bit of yellow to it to get a turquoise. Some ultramarine blue. I'm going to use some Quinacridone Magenta. Going to make a dark navy. And I'm going to use the ultramarine blue the unbleached burnt umber. My goodness, I'm already off my game here. Burnt umber. So I kind of made a dark kind of purple with these three colors and added the burnt umber to darken it up and neutralize it a little bit. And I'm just going to grab some white. Oh, that's pretty. It's kind of like it's like a Prussian blue. Yeah, so I'm going to use that back here. And I'm just going to... And I don't mind, I haven't like over mixed it, so there's like a little bit of other colors back here, and that is totally fine. Get a little bit of water. And I'm going to go ahead, speaking of water, I'm going to go ahead and spray my canvas just once. I've got a fine mist sprayer so it doesn't leave really huge droplets, but that will help that paint. It opens up the fibers of the canvas and helps that paint move around a little bit easier. So at the top here, I'm going to grab a little bit of the Quinacridone Burnt Orange and use that with my white and just blend that in places. It's going to make kind of a brownish color where it meets the blue, but that's okay. Just want kind of a neutral palette for this. I'm really kind of pressing down to get that paint off. And then just brushing through that wet paint to give it some streaks back here behind our birds. And like I said, you can use really whatever colors you want for this. You don't have to use these colors if you wanted greens or just if I was to do it by the photograph, it'd be pretty much these colors, but maybe just a little bit less saturated, a little bit lighter. So still pretty similar colors to our photograph. But just see, we're going a little bit darker. And down here at the bottom, I might grab a little bit of the yellow and just do a little bit of like a slightly greener. On the bottom quarter or so, maybe bottom third of the canvas where the birds are kind of jumping up from. And again, doing this quickly so that it's blending with the upper layer there. You don't want to let that dry. If I let it dry, we'll probably have to blend back down over it with the blue. So mix this quickly. You can always go back over this. So let's say with these first layers, don't get too bogged down in the exact colors or taking a long time to mix them. Just kind of get it close. And I'm going to have to give this to you to dry, hun. Get our dog from scratching the door, too. Okay. All right, there we go. That's kind of pretty, isn't it? I like it. Mark one, two. There we go. Thank you. All right, so while he's doing that, I'm going to clean out my brush and also say welcome. Glad you guys are hanging out with us with a Tuesday night. If you're new to our channel, hope you'll stick around and subscribe and come back. We do our shows twice a week right now, 2022. Saturdays and Tuesday nights. And let me show you what we painted on Sunday. So Saturday was this one, which I really loved how that one turned out. Very Thomas Kincaid-ish, like kind of very like colorful, super bright, ultra saturated colors. So a really fun one. And then that one's free on YouTube. And then this one is the one we painted for our patrons, for the $5 patrons on Sunday. So we finished this one Saturday. A couple landscapes this weekend. So, but yeah, it turned out pretty good. And right now it's like towards the end of the month. So if you wanted to sign up for Patreon, I would probably like maybe wait until the March 1st to sign up, because Patreon, the way they do it, it's based on the calendar month that you're in, so it will charge you for the full month of March, or for full month of February, the day you sign up, and then it'll charge you for March on March 1st. So just they're changing it, but it's still not quite the same, quite changed yet. Okay, so let me show you while Mark's doing that, what we're going to do with the drawing. So I think I'm changing up the drawing a little bit. I wanted them kind of jump, one of them at least, to be jumping up in the air. So I found these reference photos off the internet here that were free to use. So I think I love how his legs are, or his or her legs are crossed, kind of dancing. And all these kind of fun poses. So I'm going to play with the drawing a little bit, and we'll see what we come up with. I don't know. I don't want to get too crazy with it because it is a Tuesday night, and we don't want to...
Oak Island.
Right. In Oak Island.
So you said hi to everybody?
I did say hi, and I showed them the Patreon video that we did.
Subscribe.
Yeah, there you go.
I would like
the subscribe button.
Yeah, gotta be fancy. Come on.
I know. Very good. Okay. I moved my camera for this weekend, and now it's kind of in a weird place. So my this is square to me. Let me just really quick adjust my camera, because it's... Let me see if I can do it. Well, no, now I'm going to mess it up. Come on. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I know. Okay, well, that's better. Now it's square to me, and I don't have to paint sideways. Yeah. And I probably need to mess with this background, but I'm just going to paint in my birds, and we'll kind of paint around the backgrounds. Okay, so this one is kind of the one I think I want to use. So his wings are going to come up to about right here, and the other one's going to come out here. body right in here. Neck right there. Okay, so I think that's gonna give me room. And then my other one, I think I want to do similar to the one we have here, but I'm gonna do the neck coming up like this, and I want the wing coming forward, but not as far forward as this one. I want this other wing to show just a little bit over here. So a little bit kind of that underwing showing here, kind of similar to that. You just need to make sure that it's anatomically possible, you know. Oh, I don't want to get too crazy with it, but I think we can safely change it up a little bit. Okay, so there we go. So there we go. The wing here. This one's he's leaping up in the air here. And we got to see, do you remember when we saw the sandhill cranes in Nebraska?
Yes.
That one time, way long ago. That was pretty cool. They weren't doing any of this stuff.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot more entertaining. They were just kind of standing around.
I was going to ask you about that. If you remembered it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, great minds think alike.
Exactly. Well.
And then there's us. We tend to get into those trying to finish each other's sentences and being way off.
Yeah.
And either the person just stops and looks at the other.
He's like, no,
and you're like,
can
okay,
you let me just
okay.
finish? 'Cause
Oh, so I'm slow. It's taken me a moment to remember myself. But
Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm just realizing you guys can't see any of this. So he uses a bigger chalk here now that I kind of have a general idea of what I'm doing. All right. So this will be our neck here. And it comes around kind of like that. And it has a little section before the wing starts. And I want that curve that comes in like that, and then back out and up. Lots of feathers. Lots of feathers. Coming down here. Feathers. And then like the body kind of comes straight down and then angles back and creates this little teardrop shape there. And then a little bit more feathers coming down for the tail. And then right here where these two meet, kind of right up in here, there's another wing coming up. There. And all the way down in it. Like that. Okay. Then the legs are going to be about halfway up here. Come in. And, ooh, he's going to hit her face. I'm going to have to move her down because the way he's got a leg. I may have to move his kick so it's not hitting her in the face. I don't know. So something like that. I like it. And then let's move her. Well, as long as maybe put her head down like this. So, and I'm going to have her beak closed. Somewhere in there. Does that look too much like he's about to smack her on the face, doesn't it? It kind of does.
No.
He's about to go boop.
Bop.
Bop. Maybe we'll move his leg down.
It's love tap.
That's a love tap.
Or maybe it's a she and it's a him. Maybe she's going to hit him.
That's true. That's true. Could be. Move that wing forward. Yeah, so we'll just kind of have his like a little bit farther down here. We can do it. We'll still have it coming up. We'll just have it kind of coming out this way. Maybe not so high. No, that looks weird, doesn't it? I know my things. Huh? Yeah. I'm just trying to get the shape right. I think I just had it too long. There we go. So somewhere like that. I don't know. I kind of liked it up high better.
You just do it up high. It's fine.
Okay. Mark's like.
Mark's like, you question yourself too much.
I know. Well, that's what art is, pretty much. It's not a science. It's just a figuring stuff out as you go. So sometimes you move things, change them, whatever. Okay, so I'll kind of maybe move her back just a little bit.
Yes, but art does definitely make the world an interesting place.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, posts a bunch of pictures and memes and stuff like that, and he posted a picture of a billboard.
Turn her head up towards him. There we go. What? Billboard.
A billboard. I'm not sure where it is. During the daytime, on the left side is just a bunch of looks like wooden stakes stuck into the billboard.
Uh-huh.
And on the right side it says something about vampires.
Uh-huh.
But then as the sun goes down and the light comes on, they have a light off to the side that shines across the wooden sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's fully dark, it casts a shadow and it's a vampire image.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
pretty cool. And an artist did that. Came up with that. So we like you guys. You're kind of strange sometimes, for sure.
Yeah.
Us engineers can't figure out.
Heck yeah. Okay, there we go. So that's good. She's looking up. He's got his head. He's still about to bap her in the face, but she's kind of like, try it. Okay, a little bit more defiant pose. I like that better than her just with the head down. Okay. Let's paint. And our background is totally messed up now, so we'll just kind of paint around it and fix it as we go. Let's see, what do I want? I'm going to go ahead and grab the 3/8 inch angle here. And I'm going to do them more white-ish. I'm going to mix up quite a bit of my gray blue, though, because I want to use that for my shadows on my birds. So I'm going to get probably 2 parts blue to 1 part burnt umber and mix that together, make it a really nice dark blackish color. And before I forget what I used in the background, I'm going to go ahead and mix up some more of that background color too, which I'm probably not going to get it exact, but oops, got a hair there. There we go. So that's going to be really nice, like light blue. All right, so I'm going to get the teal and the blue, kind of 50-50, just a little bit of magenta and a little bit, probably equal parts blue, brown, and green or turquoise, and then just a little touch of the magenta. Okay, so that'll be our dark background color. I might go a little bit more blue. I feel like that's not quite as phthalo bluish as it was. Still looks a little bit teal. All right, so that'll be our dark color, and then so we've got a couple dark colors to work with. We can use this on our background, adding some white to it, and then this one here will be on our bird, and we'll also add white to it. Okay. And what I would suggest too, if you're following along, painting along, that you probably will find helpful would be to take a screenshot of where I've mixed these colors and just mark on your screen what colors I mixed, because once I've mixed them, I don't generally go back and mention what I've used. I get comments sometimes, people like, you're using these colors and I don't know what you're using, but I always mention what I'm mixing, but I don't say it every time, because it's, once I get half an hour into the painting, I don't really remember exactly what I mixed anymore.
Because you make it up as you go. I'm not
repeating myself over and over again.
Yeah, it's just made up every video.
Right. So, made up a little bit of light brown here too, with the burnt umber and this color, and the white. So we've got kind of a little bit of both. I'm going to kind of start with the neutral that has kind of more 50-50 burnt umber, and there we go. So you just want a color that can show up against your background. That's the main thing. Just kind of a good rule of thumb, I guess. You need to have some contrast. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of that darker gray right here, and I'm just, as I put these on, I'm gonna turn my brush so it's pointing down, and then I can get these kind of feathery shapes here. And this is all I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna really go really crazy in detail with the birds. This is obviously in our photograph, it looks like their winter plumage. So I'm going to go kind of in between, sort of add the photos that I have like the tails are darker here. So I don't know. I'll start them with white, but if I decide I need them darker, I don't have a problem changing them. It's our painting. We'll do what we want on it. It may not.
Beautiful
may
plumage.
Be in beautiful plumage. They may be in transition. Who knows? All right. Keep your paints sprayed while you're working so that they don't dry out. I'm going to get some of that white, and I do have a little bit of the darker color in here, but I've loaded it up fairly thick with paint. And I'm just going to go ahead and start to put in my feathers along this edge here, setting it down and kind of setting them next to each other and letting them create these nice long feathers here. Isn't that pretty? Pretty. And then right in here, they just kind of clump up together, so they kind of like that. Okay. And let's go ahead and bring them down. We're in there. And then we can use a little bit of the darker blue to mark that transition right there, kind of between the longer feathers. Nice. Okay. In our photo, this is a little bit longer because his neck is stretched out. He's like, in this photo, it's a little bit more clumped up because of the angle. So That's why it's a little bit less tall, because his body's kind of crunched over, jumping up in the air.
Are they punning for the fjords?
I don't know. Probably. Is it a Norwegian blue? Is that
Maybe a Norwegian white. I don't know.
Okay. That's the Monty Python reference for the night. So parrots get.
Gotta do it.
Gotta do it.
You said plumage.
I did say plumage. It was my fault. I asked for it. Oh, see, I didn't even notice that their feathers are black all the way up in this one too. So I'll have to change this up a little bit too. Here, okay. So I'm gonna do white. I do like the white. I kind of want to stick with the white here. Go. Nice. I really like painting birds. It's very relaxing. Just kind of and these feathers kind of develop. And this will all be black in here. So I like it. Okay. I think that'll work. Didn't do too bad on the drawing. I was worried. Just changing it up, Kind of always a little nerve-wracking. Nothing like, doing it live. No worries. Nobody's watching, right?
Do you want to take some questions during the show? Or?
Sure.
Okay. So this question is from Carrie.
Okay.
And says they'd like to ask from people from dry areas. Mm-hmm. So that's not us, but what do you use to help with the paint drying too quickly on the canvas and making it hard to blend?
You can add, there are additives that you can add to your water to help with that. I think it's glycerin maybe. I don't use it, but you might look it up, Google it and just see. But there are additives that you can add to your water. That's one thing you can do. You can also just make sure that you're, working with a humidifier in the room. That always helps us quite a bit, especially this time of year. It gets really dry here. And so if I don't have a humidifier going, I can tell immediately, things dry a lot faster. You got little kneecaps here. I'm just want to widen out that kneecap area a little bit. Make sure you don't have a fan going. Any kind of airflow, so you can, air condition your house, obviously, so that it's cool, but, and you definitely, that makes a difference too. You want your air temperature to be on the cooler side. The warmer it is, the faster it'll dry too. But, airflow has a lot to do with, I've talked to people before and they said the same thing, and then they'll be like, oh, well, I had my window open or I had, the fan on and, so, it's like things you might not think about that it really does affect it. So just kind of make sure that you're giving it the right environment. And then, if you do all that and it's still having problems, then you could, again, like add some sort of and I'm just adding a little bit of the highlight color over the top of the lake there to give them a little highlight. And I'm going to use my smaller brush to do the little feet. So I'm not ready to do that yet. Let me get this other bird going here. But there's also Stay Wet palettes, so it'll be like a spongy kind of thing that you paint on, or you can even put your paints out on a wet paper towel. I've seen people do that. There's all kinds of like little things that you can try.
The question was about having the paint dry too quickly on the canvas itself.
Oh, on the canvas itself? We can spray your canvas as you work too.
And the humidifier, like everything you set up to that point is valid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in using a little bit of glazing medium can help too, because the glazing mediums there's also open acrylics. Open acrylics are made by Golden, and they take about 24 hours to dry, so get a lot more blending time with that, so if you don't have to, like if you just want to do your background in one day and then let it dry and come back and do your birds the next day, you could do something like that. Okay. Let's see, where is I? Okay, so I guess I'm doing this up here. Just trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Okay, and back to the white here. And if you want the tip to be more rounded instead of like pointy, you can kind of angle your tip in a little bit when you do it, so it's a little bit more rounded, or use a round brush too. I'm noticing these are kind of pointy. There we go. Did that answer the question okay?
I think so.
For them? Okay.
If not, we'll give them a refund. So since they're dancing, so is the bird on the right teaching the other one how to floss? Or,
do you move your arms with the body or without? I don't.
Actually, I think
still haven't actually tried.
I think the left one is trying to teach him how to floss.
Is it?
Yeah,
I think
the
he's
other one
doing the
can't get it
running
right.
man.
Running man?
Doing the running man.
Here, let me zoom out real quick and let's do that again.
No, thank you. Nobody wants to see that. Okay, trying to get some of this background color. I think I must have used a lot more blue than I realized. A lot less teal and a lot more blue. There we go. Now we're talking. And because we're, doing this so streaky and everything, it doesn't have to blend in perfectly. We can just kind of, as long as the top and bottom of it, kind of blends in. As far as as long as we kind of get that blended pretty well, we're fine. We're good. I'm gonna get a little bit of that yellow, that greenish color with the yellow. And kind of just give it a second coat down here. This brush is a little bit too small for this, really, but I have some patchy spots here I'm seeing, so I'm just going to try to hit those with some color. So my background's really well saturated. And again, you really probably want to do this before you do your birds, but you know, we like to live dangerously, so I didn't want to have to wait and have it dried again during the show, so just doing it like that. But I really like the background color though. I think it's pretty. Okay. So let's keep going with this bird here.
So while I was out, did you talk about the whole Patreon thing?
I did. I showed them what we painted
Okay.
for the. I didn't
missed
show
so
them what we're
much.
doing on my $10 level videos, though. We're doing this. We'll finish this Thursday. We're going to add a bunch more flowers down in here. Mostly this is mostly done here, but we're working on this. So these are the videos that they're called the challenge videos. We work on them Thursdays throughout the month and take our time with them. Take all month to get it done. So it's kind of nice to have a little bit more of a leisurely pace. Don't feel like as rushed to get it done in a certain amount of time like I do during videos on YouTube. Not that anybody's timing me or anything, but not that anybody's like wanting to watch Oak Island or anything.
Exactly. No priorities.
No pressure. Okay, I'm trying to kind of figure out this transition here on this wing. It's kind of not. I used black there just for that little bit. Gonna go ahead and kind of give it a little bit of a dip there. And just darken up where that kind of goes back there. Okay. Again, I'm not really sure exactly what's happening back here because I don't have it in my photograph, but I'm just guessing by the other photos that I'm seeing. Something like that probably. Might have a little bit of more of a dip right here. Okay. Yeah, that's fun. Use a little bit more of that blue gray because I kind of like that color for my shadows. It's a little bit warm or a little bit more cool than the cool in temperature than the black. Got a little bit more warmth too, just more. I don't know. I like it a little bit better than the just straight black. Okay, so let's go ahead and kind of start it with this gray here, and then we'll switch to the black.
You've never done oils, right?
No. Mm-mm.
Not even in college?
No. Mm-mm. Never worked in oils ever.
I work
Never even dabbled in them.
I work in oil, but it's like canola, olive
oils.
vegetable. Sometimes peanut.
Getting the black now.
Moving right along about the painting.
Well, I'm changing colors. I just want to make sure I'm mentioning what I'm doing.
You're doing good.
Thanks. But yeah, definitely not my cup of tea. I don't have any desire. There's never had any desire to work with oils, just because the only reason I would work with oils is because they do have more pigment, so they are a little bit more luminous. But pretty much, aside from that, pretty much anything you can do with oils, you can do with acrylics. But they dry so much faster that you're just not as limited on time. With oils, if you're wanting to paint with layers like I do, you have to wait for your layers to dry for several days sometimes, or longer, depending on how let me see, hold on, I'm just trying to make sure I got this one right here. How thick your initial layers are, you can really end up having to wait a while to get them, to do your next layers. And I'm just too impatient. I want to get it done. So,
right.
But I got time for that.
Yeah.
And the way Bob Ross painted was wet into wet. So he painted a different technique. His layers were super thin. If you saw, he started with what's called magic white. So he started with a wet background, and then he would paint over it. And whenever he did like the mountains and things where he had to do multiple layers, he would pile on the paint really thick. But then you never saw him go back and do anything else to those layers, because you couldn't blend over them or do anything to them unless you were going to, lift the color off. So that, I think that that if you work in that way, then you can, work more quickly with oils. But if you're not working that way, if you're wanting to do glazing and things like that, you have to let your paint dry completely before you do any glazing or anything like that. So it's just, I don't know, it's just much different. Sorry, that was probably more information they wanted.
So the answer is no.
Short answer.
I'll kind of sum it up in guy talk.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
No.
No. The answer is no.
Didn't you spend 4 hours with your best friend Bob? Yep. And you didn't ask him
how he was doing?
No.
No.
I'm sure he's fine. He would have told me.
Mm-hmm. That's about it. Yeah, I always kind of laugh when I'm reading a book and they're like, all the male characters are trying to figure out, their problems with women or whatever. And I'm like, that's not, no. I mean, maybe some guys are, but my husband, no. That would not be happening. Mark is not a talker. I barely know what he's thinking most of the time. It's worked out all right.
Which is pretty much nothing.
Okay, I need to stop fiddling with this. I keep messing with it.
So yeah, that's a big marriage advice. Once you ladies come to grips that really, no, truly, honestly, no, we're not thinking of anything.
Then yeah, it's a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. We'll go ahead and put the black over here, and then we'll start with a little bit of the lighter color. I keep trying to find pictures. I keep looking around at my reference images trying to find the picture I'm painting off of, and I'm like, oh wait, I don't have a picture. It's a little bit disconcerting. Okay, just trying to figure it out. Here, okay, that's where it is on that bird. So we'll just get it in that same general area. It's a little bit tricky.
Doing good.
It's coming out.
Mm-hmm. You tell him, Fitz. It's okay. Oh.
Shh. Nope. You told him to tell him. He's telling him. He's like, oh, my dad told me to tell you.
Why don't you go out and investigate? Make sure everything's okay in the neighborhood.
Okay, there we go. And then we'll brighten up the wingtips a little bit with some brighter color. But okay, I'm starting to feel sticky, so I'm just going to spray it so nothing dries on me. Oops, nope, he wants to come back. I think you tricked me. Oh, we had thunderstorms last night, and neither Mark nor I got any sleep because Fitzy, he gets panicked. He threw up. He got himself so worked up he threw up when I finally let him out of his kennel. And then I wanted to get in bed, and he was so glued to my side I couldn't even get in bed. He wouldn't let me move. He was just... And then as soon as he realized Mark was in the bed, that's all he wanted to go over to Dad's side. And of course Mark was completely asleep, so he woke Mark up. And yeah, it was just nobody got any sleep last night.
Yeah, he sat there and put his face up against mine and was just like licking my face. And then I was like, no, stop. And then he put his head in the
Nook of
the nook of my shoulder and head and just sat there. Just
I know. Yeah, I know. He's so... he I put his little thunder vest on, so when I was putting that on him, he threw up and out here, and then I brought him back in the bedroom to try to... He just got himself so worked up. All right, sorry. I'm sure nobody needed to know that. Apologize. Don't know what I thought of that. Just...
It's only dinner time. Go ahead. But you can go in an update with that picture there of how things are going.
Oh, yeah. So this is this is the other night, Cashmere, who, if you've watched our show before, you realize Cashmere hates the dog. She barely tolerates him. She got up on Mark's lap and she fell asleep on Fitzy. And then, was it the next one?
The other direction.
And this one, he's like, what? How did you let me do that? What the heck just happened? I was touching him. What? The look on her face, just like so disgruntled.
Yeah.
She's like so upset with herself. Yeah. Accusing Mark. She's just like, really? Really? You let me do that? It was great. Oh my gosh, that cat. Ears back, face all mad. Yep. Oh well. Okay, let's do like that. So it kind of goes like that. And then I'm going to make the neck a little bit longer on this because it's looking a little stubby. So I'm going to narrow it right here. And the other leg is back here too, but I'm just going to go ahead and have them kind of side by side. So they sort of disappear back here. Little knobby knees and, oops, got a little thick there. There. Okay, not bad. So let's go ahead and switch to a brush so we can get a little bit better detail here. But so far so good. I'm going to go ahead and before I get too much farther, I'm just going to dust off my drawing lines. So give me a little bit better idea. You can get a little bit of wet down here. Give me a little bit better idea of what I have going on. Make sure your paint's dry, obviously, before you do this.
And then to finish off the cashmere story, Fitz just lays there very nervously.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to move because
Is she really?
Because she has
does she
scratched
know
me
she's
before.
touching me? Right. I don't think this is what she meant to do. I'm gonna just be really quiet and
Just don't
not move.
maybe
Just
she
don't
won't
move.
hurt me.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. Maybe she won't hurt me. I think this is a trap. Pretty sure this is a trap. If I try to make friends with her, she's gonna scratch me. So. I think that's why she's starting to do that, though, because he's not reacting to it. So if he reacted to it, she would immediately hiss and get off of him, or whatever, move away. But I still think it was hilarious that she got so mad that she was laying on him, though. Just her face. It's just like, what the? I'm pretty sure you made me do that. She's looking at you like, why did you do that to me? Like, you came over on my lap and fell face first into the dog. We did not do that to you.
Well, it's taken her.
He's a year and a half. Well,
Yeah,
it'll be 2 years in May. So
Well, yeah, but we've only had them.
that's true since August. Yeah.
But a year and a half just to get to that point.
Yeah. Exactly.
And most of the time, it's a lot of hissing and don't come near me. He'll try to play with her, and she'll go over to her little scratching cardboard thing and just tear the heck out of it, looking at him like,
Just like,
this is you.
Yeah.
Just, yes.
He gets the point. He knows. I don't think she's ever actually scratched him, but she. Well,
She's bopped him on the nose.
yeah,
once,
that's true. Yeah.
But he deserved it.
Right.
He was nipping at her.
Yeah. Pets. Okay, so I'm just kind of finishing up the background there. Adding little streakies and stuff. And I think I'm going to use my Zinc White and add some like cloudy stuff around the bottom here, and that'll kind of push back the perspective a little bit too. So, okay. Clean this off because I've got a bunch of stuff right here in my way. Okay, so let's get I'm gonna get the one round, I think, to finish off the faces. So, well, we're doing good on time. 7, yeah, about an hour so far. Not bad. Okay, so. And let's get some white in this gray here. Let's get some of the darker gray. And this foot here's got the claws just kind of curved back where he's jumped up, and then this one here has got him kind of curved forward. And in all the ones that I'm seeing, I'm just seeing kind of two, because I think they're kind of like this. They're the ones that are behind are kind of together. So I'm just gonna kind of do one and one here. Something like that. Okay. Looks good. And then yeah, looks all right. These ones are disappearing down into the grass, or whatever that's there. So I'm just gonna kind of put them there, but we'll cover them up. And then let me get some black here, a little bit of this dark blue, gray color here that we mixed, and a little bit of black, and we'll make do the head. So the eyes right here. I'll do that more black than the rest. And then there's that reddish part that comes down there. Okay, so let's do this one. In there like that, and then the white eye right there. So a lot smaller than what I drew there. And I'm going to take all that chalk off right now because I don't want to have it underneath where I'm trying to do the beak, because it will be kind of hard to paint over it. Same for that. Just going to use some of that background color to blend that out, smear it out a little bit. And the key to getting the background looking blurry like this and mixing these colors without having, you can go over, with the new color and that kind of thing, is to make sure that when I'm putting on these new layers that I'm always painting in the direction that the rest of these are streaked, and also making sure that the values are just about the same in any of these colors. So they're very close in value. So if I have, just a little bit of another color in here, I'm just gonna, instead of going around and carefully painting around this with an outline, I'm going to blend into it this way and pull it down so that I'm just blending it out into the rest of the background like that. And then that way you can mess with your background or fix things without on this kind of a background where it's all painted and stuff. It can be a little tricky, but it's doable. Okay. Gonna get some white and go around my eye a little bit here. And I'm going to go over the part that's going to be red so that I have it nice and white underneath. It'll make the red be brighter when I put it on. And then there's just a little bit of a white outline kind of behind the head coming down. Right there. Okay, let's get some more of that. Same deal, kind of white coming up behind the head. And then coming out around the eye. Somewhere there. Okay. Yeah, it's working. And then for the beak, let's go ahead and do a little bit of this gray. Make sure my background is dry before I try to do it. It comes down a little bit into this bottom area, so it kind of continues almost like a straight line there. And then this part is going to continue from this angle right by the, sort of from the eye straight out. Like that. Okay, then I'm going to get some of the Unbleached Titanium and just highlight that top of the beak. Just a little bit. Woo, it's blurring on me. A little bit of white with this. Trying to get a good point on it. It kind of went a little thick right there. So nice thin point. There we go. Just kind of highlighting on that beak just a little bit. I like it. Okay, and then let's get that dark gray again. And I'm going to find one of them that has the beak closed. They're all kind of have their mouths open, don't they? This one's kind of got its beak closed. So again, from the eye out, it's a good place to. There we go. And then get some of that highlight color. And just go from the very tip back a little bit there to highlight it. Okay. I'm going to get a little bit of black right on the very tip of it. Make sure I've got a nice dark eye. And I can even get just a tiniest little bit of white here. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit. And spin my brush to a good point and find, kind of go around the eye just a little bit with some white and just a tiny little dot on there to highlight it. Okay. I'm gonna get a little bit of black here. Just bring that out just a little bit more on the bottom of that beak. Okay. Well, I don't think it's right there, actually. It's kind of more back. There we go. Okay, let's put a little bit of red up here. So I'm going to get my Quinacridone Magenta and my Quinacridone Burnt Orange and a little bit of yellow. you can grab a red too if you want. You don't have to just mix your own. It's just whatever you want to do. Won't matter. I just was using these colors already, so I can mix a pretty nice red with this. I want it kind of on the orangey side. And I'm going to go right behind that. This is the one round still. There, and I need to bring some black back this way. There and there. Just a little cap of red. Get a little bit of that black and bring this and be in front of the eye just a little bit. Connect it right there. It's around that one. Alrighty, okay, so we're pretty close. Now I just want to do some final little details. I think I'm gonna get my 4 round, so it's a little bit bigger. And I'm gonna get some white here and just spray everything because it's starting to dry. I didn't end up using the burnt sienna, so you can leave that out if you're being along. I'm sorry. I thought I was going to use it, but I didn't end up using it, so I don't think I'm going to need it at this point either.
Which one?
Burnt sienna.
Oh, use it.
I'll take it off of the list. What?
I'm glad to use it.
I have no place to use it. I don't need it. All right, gonna use it right here though. I'm gonna use my white. Gonna go over, just kind of, see I'm leaving a little bit of that darker showing there. There we go. And then I'm gonna use it right along the front side of here to kind of add a nice bright highlight, and then just gonna dab it out and get some more bright white and make sure that these have a nice bright highlight. This is where I can kind of round out the tips of them if I want to. And then again, like that. Oh, I love it. So fun. Cranes are really hot right now. I was just telling Mark before I started the video, I get a trends newsletter every now and then from licensing company, and cranes were in 2 of the photos out of like probably 8 or something. There were cranes on a bedspread and in some wallpaper, and it's like, okay, well, we're right on trend right now. They're really very on trend for this season, so kind of pretty cool when I had been seeing them some more here and there, but that just kind of reinforced it. So it's kind of fun to do. I don't pick my videos for trends generally. I just kind of paint what's interesting to me, and hope for the best. But it is kind of fun to catch the trend too, so hopefully.
You never painted me.
Ahead of the trend?
No, you say that you paint things that are interesting to you. I just noticed there's no paintings of me anywhere.
It's true. Well, I'm painting that's interesting to me to paint, not you're interesting
right.
in other ways, but
nice recovery.
not necessarily to paint. Okay, getting some kind of grayish color here. I'm just going to kind of try to blend out these little bits here. So the wing detail comes down here and kind of curves over that muscle, kind of curves back in just before the neck right here. And then the neck has a little bit of highlight on it too, but this one's a little bit more like that. And these are actually kind of coming in this way. There we go. That's it. And then the highlight on the leg comes up a little bit. Okay. And then again here, this leg is actually in front right here, so I'm gonna highlight in front of that right there, darken up that one that's back here just a little bit, so it looks like it's farther away, farther back. Get my white. Like it. Okay, let's get her wings are not highlighted up here, so let's go ahead and highlight those. And I probably should have counted and made sure I had the right number. I'm sorry if you're a bird watcher and I have too few. What are these called? There's a certain name for these.
Feathers.
Well, they're kind of like these. I can't remember the name of them, but anyhow.
White feathers.
No.
Long white feathers. Final answer.
I think they're like leading feathers, or they have some sort of name like that. I can't remember. Anyhow. So, okay. I like it. Hey, I'm proud of myself, I have to say, for not having had an exact photo. These turned out pretty nice. So I'm going to pat myself on the back there. I'm not going to lie, I was a little nervous. I'm always a little nervous when I'm having to change something just before the live stream. But I'm trying to challenge myself this year to get a little bit more creative with my...
A flight feather.
Flight feather, there we go. Isn't that fun? Okay. So let's go ahead and I'm going to grab, I'm going to grab this one. This is the 3/8 inch. Make sure my feet are dry, which they are. Get my Zinc White and some glaze. And I'm going to get just a little bit of that background color too. That background blue. I'm just going to fuzz out. I'm going to start fairly thick with it, kind of all along here. Down low. And then wipe my brush out and use it to just kind of push out the top edge. Smudge it out. You can do small sections if you want. I just kind of laid in a fairly good amount of paint here to do a bigger area. But
nail color, please.
I don't know. Go get my thing.
Oh.
It's a new color. I haven't used it before. It's a new brand too. It's called Orly. So I haven't used it. I ordered a bunch more paints this spring, which I didn't need, or not paints, nail paints. I'm probably need to go to a nail paint anonymous or whatever. I don't know if there's such a thing. I have a real addiction to buying new nail paint colors. Okay. I wasn't lying. Okay. No, it's not that one. It's in this one. It's in the purples right here. Kaleidoscope eyes. There we go. Yeah. I probably need some more blue paints. Like so many that are exactly the same color, almost, but they're not. They're just slightly different. So
You can't mix them like you do.
no, you can't mix them like acrylic. So I think you probably can actually, but I've never tried it. So I'm not that great at painting my nails. I've gotten better at it out of necessity, but I only paint them for the shows. So it's a tax write-off, you know. I don't have to pay for my brushes thankfully, because of Princeton sends us brushes. So there's my my justification. Can spend it on paint colors. All right, so now I've got my initial layer on. I'm just going to kind of go back in now with some brighter and just try to not lift off what I've already done, because this is still a little bit damp under here, but you see what I'm doing here. Kind of just swirly little bits, and honestly you could bring that up as high as you wanted to if you wanted to, you know, make it look like it's really like snow swirls or whatever. Grass, you could do grass. A lot of the photographs here have grasses coming up over the feet, so you could do, you know, like that if you wanted to with this brush, and do little grass-like stuff with whatever you decide to do with yours. But I kind of like the swirlies. I'm going to kind of use it on around the face and around this foot too, just to kind of smudge it out a little bit. Okay, I think we're about done. Not bad. That was really fun. And, you know, like in our photograph, these are kind of like more like trees, so you could kind of make them a little bit more like tree-like, or do greens or whatever you want to do. So another thing that we could do once this is dry, even on our background here, you could go back in with a transparent color, so get a little bit of yellow or something like that, and you can, you know, glaze a little bit of color in here, so I can add a little bits of yellow tone over parts of it to add another little color story. So lots of different things you can do. You don't have to be stuck with this if you decide, you know, you get it done and you're like, oh, I don't really like that color I used in the background. You can kind of tint it, as long as you can, you know, use a color that mixes well. You know, you have to know that it mixes well with whatever's underneath, but this yellow is kind of adding a little interesting little streaks there. I think kind of fun. Yeah, and sort of, I don't know. I've seen several, like, I thought about doing it on a metallic background, so, you know, kind of giving it that almost like Japanese kind of look, or you could put in, I saw one of them that had like spring cherry blossoms on, you know, around it, or kind of, there's a lot of different things that you could do with it. Lots of fun stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it and give it a try. I give it 2 thumbs up. I enjoyed it. Very kind of low stress, I think. Not too hard, I don't believe. Of course, I like painting birds, and I've painted several, so they're a little bit more relaxing for me. But you know, I think that if you're, you know, layering your feathers properly, you know, in the right direction, getting them I think that's the main thing, is just making sure that you're kind of laying your feathers down the way they're going on your bird, and just kind of check your reference photos and make sure you're kind of getting them sort of in the right direction. I'm going to do just a little bit more of that zinc white. Now that it's dried, it's kind of dried a little bit light right here. So I'm going to get a little bit more of that zinc white and put a little bit more of it right around at the feet here. There we go. Okay. Get my dark gray here with my small round. The key with the signing anything or using the liner brushes or small round brushes, just add plenty of fluid to your paint. And I choke up on my brush and use a shorter bristled brush. Works a little bit better, and come up about 1/4 inch so that if you do frame it, it doesn't cut off your signature. And I find that the thicker brushes like this one, I could have used a thinner brush, but the one round, it's just thin enough to get a good signature, but it also holds more paint, so I don't have to reload it very often. So I find it's easier if I can just sign it all, at least like my one name with one go, and don't have to reload it halfway through my name. All right.
Got a quick general question here.
Okay.
About brushes.
Okay.
So they bought a strip liner today.
A script liner. Okay.
Are they supposed to keep the little plastic thingy?
No. Yes, you throw it out. Yeah, it does. It'll push the bristles back, Patty. You don't want to keep it. So it's only to protect it during shipping. Those little plastic sleeves. Yeah, they just keep the... She's talking about these.
Make sure you recycle.
Yeah, they come that way when they ship them, and then when I'm ready to use it, you'll also notice that your brush will be stiff, and you just break that sizing by pushing on it. It'll break up the sizing, and they just put a little bit of a stiffener in it and put the sleeve on to protect it from getting bent and shipping. So that's it.
Trying to think of a good use for those things. I'll come up with something.
Yeah, I'm gonna splatter. What? Just a little bit. I'm not gonna go crazy with it. I just want a little bit of a splatter on the ground, like around their feet. Last minute splatter. Addition, but I kind of feel like it's enough of a wintry type scene that I think it kind of looks like it's snow, so I'm just going to kind of splatter a little bit.
Whatever.
What?
You can justify it all you want.
Well, that one wasn't great. That brush was too soft. I need a stiffer bristled brush. I'm using like 50/50 titanium white and zinc white. That way it won't be too opaque. And lots of water. And then hold it in my fist and point it down where I want it to go. There we go. Hopefully it doesn't look like bird poo flying up. I know the other day when I was doing the woman with the braid in her hair, we splattered some red stuff on her shirt. And then I was like, oh, after the video, I was like, oh, that kind of looks like blood. So I need a note to self, watch out when I'm splattering.
What is she walking away from exactly?
Okay, so just little splatters of white here, just kind of fluttering around. I think it looks good. Adds a little movement to it and gives a little extra detail. All right. That's it. Thanks, guys, for watching, hanging out with us. We appreciate you. And we will be back on Saturday with another video. I'm starting to, I've got a poll going right now for my $10 patrons. So they're picking kind of what we're going to paint next month. So as soon as probably tomorrow and Thursday, I'll be posting my videos for March. And you will, if you're part of my newsletter, it'll come out on Friday. You'll be getting that in my newsletter. So if you sign up on my website, it's thankfulart.com. You can sign up for my newsletter there. And we'll send out a newsletter every Friday to let you know what we're painting that week. So, all right. Thanks, guys, for watching again. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.